welcome to the Word of the Day podcast. I'm your host, Jamie Silva, and I'd encourage you to stay tuned through the end of this episode for an exciting announcement. Though I really shouldn't have to say that because the show is only like 5 minutes long and there are no ads, so it isn't a huge sacrifice on your part to listen all the way through. So let's get right into it. The word of the day is prejudicial. Now, this is the point at which I would ordinarily spell it for you, but I realized the other day that however you're listening, you can probably see the title of this episode just by looking at your phone or computer, and the title has the word right in it, so there will be no more spellings. On to my definition. Now, I say prejudicial refers to a statement or word that subtly implies a certain negative conclusion about the subject, but without stating that conclusion explicitly. The online definition is, quote, harmful to someone or something, detrimental, unquote. Well, this is not a good definition at all. It is way too broad. No one says, wow, that skateboarding accident was really prejudicial to my kneecaps, which is a usage this definition implies is fine because the accident was detrimental to your kneecaps. But no one says that, and they really shouldn't. I would think of it this way instead. Prejudicial, which of course comes from the word prejudice, meaning a preconceived judgment or opinion, pops up all the time in courtrooms in reference to situations where one lawyer implies something by using a certain word or phrase, and the other lawyer has to object, like this. So, Mr. Chmielewski, you say that mere hours before Mrs. Chmielewski attempted to rob the bank you work at, you conveniently forgot to lock the bank vault. Interesting. The other lawyer says, objection, Your Honor, prejudicial. We have yet no reason to believe that this was anything but an unfortunate mistake on the part of my client, and I move that conveniently and interesting be stricken from the record. Or something like that. Writing riveting courtroom dramas is not my specialty. This word, though, is also applicable in tons of non-courtroom settings as well, because people insinuate or hint at negative conclusions all the time. So, for example, in the workplace, imagine this. A boss says, so, Gary, how's your cute little project coming along? And Gary might say, with all due respect, sir, that's a bit prejudicial. This project is vital to the survival of our firm, and it is not cute at all. It should be clear, by the way, that if the boss had said, hey, Gary, how's your stupid project coming along? That is not prejudicial. That would just be insulting. The boss is not insinuating that Gary's project is silly and worthless. He's outright stating it. And you always have to be a little bit more subtle in order to be prejudicial. Here's another way to think about it. Anytime someone uses finger quotes to describe what someone said, they're being prejudicial because they're hinting at a different and less complimentary, or in fact, usually the opposite version of whatever they're saying. And like this example, and I'll try to make the finger quotes come through on the audio. Yeah, the other day, Janine served me some of her famous guava preserves. Oh, really? Were they so delicious? Etc. Now, it's the same thing if someone uses an exaggeratedly annoying or otherwise fake voice when retelling what someone else said. Like, of course, that person would have come across as whiny if they said it like that. So as you can see, sometimes words themselves can be prejudicial, and sometimes it's the way you say them. And I'll let what I've covered already suffice as the examples, because I think there were a few in there. Before concluding, as noted, we do have an exciting announcement. If you go to wotdpodcast.com/merchandise, you will see that our logo has been plastered across a range of products, from iPhone cases to mugs to shirts and sweatshirts. And you can buy all of those products at our brand new online store, which once again is accessible at wotdpodcast.com/merchandise. So check that out and maybe browse around the rest of the site while you're there. Lastly, if you've been planning to but just haven't quite gotten around to it yet, don't forget to review and rate the show on iTunes. We don't ask you to do this just for kicks, but rather because it really does help the show grow and reach new people out there who need this show, because their friends and coworkers are always saying prejudicial things about them, but they aren't quite sure what to say in response other than, that's not fair, or stop it, or something similarly ineffective. So if you want to help those people, you know what to do. Well, that'll conclude today's episode of the Word of the Day podcast. I'm Jamie Silva, and I hope you enjoyed it.